And Ronald Koeman.
He finally got his wish.
Ronald Koeman granted the sweet release of death at Barcelona. Even he was sacked. He wasn't actually killed by the Barcelona fans. Although, I mean, give it a couple more weeks.
He was pushing it.
They lost to Real Madrid in the Clásico. Then lost to Rayo Vallecano. A Ramdal Falcao goal, no less.
I could not believe my eyes. I was sure
He's still
he was
going.
retired. He's playing in La Liga still. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that was yesterday that Koeman suffered that defeat to Rayo Vallecano. I mean, they currently sit ninth in the table.
Yeah.
With also some of the best young players in Europe.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid are top of the table.
Yeah, that's probably worse.
So, I mean, and the worst thing is, though, it's not even like in years gone by, it was if Barcelona had a bad year, then Real Madrid would win the league by default almost.
Yeah.
And vice versa. But, Real Madrid are there on goal difference. They have to actually compete for the league. It's not going to be walk the park for them. So, it's even worse that they're top and you're in ninth. So, yeah. I mean, I do feel bad for him, though, all the same. Because, the manager of Barcelona, he's not there's a presidential war every couple of years at Barcelona. It feels like
you should never know who the president and the vice president stuff of the club are. If you do, it means your club is in trouble.
Well, they're definitely the most powerful people at the club, not the manager. There's speeches and smear campaigns and corporate espionage. Every time there's an election there, he's about as important as the club shop manager.
He's just a face, just there.
Yeah. This week I think we're going to sell Barcelona merchandise. Yeah, with maybe the crest on it and maybe the Barcelona colours. Yeah. Jorge, you've done it again. That's Koeman that as the manager of the team, especially when Messi was there.
Yeah.
It was
give it to Messi.
The president, then Messi, and then Koeman. That's so. Then maybe the club manager, the shop manager, whatever, the club shop manager. But and when he was there, it was always oh, is Messi finished? Are you going to play Messi? Can you drop Messi? Is Messi undroppable? Is Messi bad? And then you have to do the no, he's a club legend, and I have so much respect for him and what he's achieved in his career and all this kind of stuff. While also thinking about dropping him, and thinking about having to play other people. And then people are going back to Messi being he's talking shit about you, Koeman is apparently. Yeah, he says you're old and shit, I think.
Yeah, someone mentioned it.
And then that was before the pandemic. And you had not being able to buy players, so I definitely do feel sorry for him. Yeah, you might say he didn't have to take the job, but
Yeah, he did also seem for the last few months he didn't particularly want it anymore. We were talking for ages about all of his interviews where he's what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
do my best.
Imagine if David Moyes wasn't allowed to leave Man United at the time. They couldn't afford to sack him. I just had to continue on with aging Rooney and Ferdinand. There's nothing I can do. That's what it seemed like. It was he should have been gone in another, alternate reality. He would have been gone as soon as they're going bad. But because they couldn't afford to sack him, he had to just lived through this every day. People he's so bad, he's useless.
I'm sure Xavi will be able to turn that around. He's
managed Xavi though.
He's managed someone in Qatar. He's ready.
Well, Xavi can either go the way of Lampard. I guess Arteta's kind of in the middle. Solskjær, former club legends come back to manage. I mean,
it really works out every time so far.
Pirlo, another one. I mean, it hasn't worked out great in recent history. Yeah, so I mean, he's a front runner, but the person I feel really sorry for at Barcelona though is the guy who's 3/4 of the way through his Koeman effigy he was going to burn at the stadium next week, and now he sees the news because it looked like he wasn't going to ever get sacked. I got kicked up a notch. He's sitting on his floor with newspapers on the floor, look at his phone, look at the news, he's happy, but he's but all the work I did. I mean,
no. Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? What would club you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. Midweek special, second episode of the week. The Carabao Cup. Some people call it the League Nations. The League of Nations, even, of the club competitions.
That's what
I've heard it been called. I've heard it been called that, yeah.
It's wordy.
The League of Nations tournament of the club calendar schedule Cup trophy.
The
That's what I've heard it called.
L.
Yeah, you get a nice little acronym for that. And but no, it was, like you say, always seems like, second team, third teams, no one's going to care about this game. It's not going to be good. But there's always penalty shootouts, which saves it a lot of time.
That's the best rule they've ever brought in is getting rid of extra time in those.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it makes so much more sense because it's like, you're already playing your second team, third team. You get like the round 16, you kind of want to win it, so you bring on players. They're playing extra. You got a game at the weekend. Just get the penalties.
Yeah.
If the game's going to end 1-1, 0-0, just get goals on the sheet. You know what I mean? Get more goals in the game.
They should make the game even shorter. Just 20 minutes, then penalties in the Carabao Cup.
It should just be a skills competition, like Winry Street Striker. That's what it should be.
Kicking the ball into bins.
Yeah. Kick that ball off the mattress into the bin. Watch the stray dog who'll try and take the ball off you. You go around him and then, top bins.
And Preston have won the Carabao Cup.
Yeah. Chelsea, or played Southampton, like I say, 1-1 draw, goes straight to penalties afterwards. And we had some predictions for these games. I'd say, I don't really remember them, but maybe 50-50 we got right.
I'd say right.
We didn't call Edinburgh to go to penalties, though. That's the other side of us.
Yeah.
So I don't think we get any credit for the wins we got. Kai Havertz got the first goal, then Che Adams equalised.
Yeah.
And then straight to penalties then after that, as we said.
The Che Adams goal was bizarre as well because he literally just... It wasn't Che Adams who did the run. Someone did the run, but they just ran in a straight line towards the goal and no one stopped him. And then he rifled it at the keeper and it bounced off the keeper and then Che Adams scored. But it was literally like he just ran straight and no one stopped him.
He ran into a dangerous area and no one spotted the danger, you know. Because during the game, people were like, Kepa Arrizabalaga has really matured over this last while. He's really taken that incident with Sarri and moved on. And because he made some really good saves in the game, to be fair to him. But that goal did kind of go under his legs, which, it never looks. It might even be the worst thing to do. It might be the statistically the smartest thing to do to make yourself wide like that. But it went under his legs. And like I say, Che Adams just ran straight to where the ball was going to be, as if he knew where it was going to go.
Yeah. As if that keeper had a habit of that happening.
But that said, another stat of the week, Will. Kepa Arrizabalaga has made the most saves in penalty shootout history for Chelsea. That
is mental, especially with Caballero. Like that was Caballero's whole thing for a while.
Yeah. Well, he had 7 before it started, and he saved 1, I think, or did you say? I think one was missed.
Yeah,
and he saved one. He put Walcott's one onto the post. Of course, Walcott missed. Such a fucking shite hawk. Such a fucking waster, man. As in a waste of talent. You know what I mean? Like, he had it all and just, it's up there, mentally up there. Penalty, of course he missed it. Will Smallbone, he put it over the great name.
Fantastic name, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a specific name. It's like, I wonder how they got their name. It's like, I can tell you how. I mean, I couldn't really. It'd still be a guess, but it's a funnier story to imagine than,
Well, that dude has small bone on the back of his jersey.
Sure. They're the old small bones over there, am I right? It's like, I guess so. Yeah, they're just small bones.
Is that the all-time worst bit in the podcast?
We'll see how the rest of the episode goes. But right now, it's a strong contender. The Will Smallbone bit. Might get some T-shirts with the small bones over there slogan on it. People can wear them to live shows. Anyways, Chelsea most there, except for Mason Mount, who's now gone 1-3 for his last penalties.
Yeah,
last 3 penalties. I mean, and one of the ones he scored was a retake. when Tim Krul's off his line. In days gone by, that would have just been a good old-fashioned miss.
A save from a keeper.
So unfortunately, I think Mason Mount, we won't be seeing him taking many more penalties outside the Carabao Cup again. I mean, you can't be giving many more penalties, can you?
No, surely not. I mean, if the pressure of the Carabao Cup penalty shootout is too much, you can't really be relying on him in, say, the Champions League final.
Yeah, it's something that they were there last year. They could very well be there again this year. Like even when Reece James got the winner, it was like we were saying before, that kind of awkward, like, I'm not going to celebrate the Carabao Cup. I mean, he kind of just stood there, was like, hey, we won. Kind of half embarrassed. Like,
Tuchel is going to fucking kill us for not winning this before penalties.
Yeah, I mean, I know who I'd have on the penalties, though, Will, if I was picking the guys at Chelsea.
Yeah, there's only one man for the job.
Penn Chilwell, that's who.
Since we've called him that, I've seen him take more penalties and shots than he ever had before.
Oh, he's on a tear. He's on an absolute tear. He was the man in form. He was the one man you would have wanted on the penalty spot, the guy who knew where the goal was.
Yeah. Do you know how much form he's in? Do you know what I saw yesterday? An article about Penn Chilwell making a play to be England's next starting left back. He's back in the power rankings.
Oh, yes. And they actually called him Penn Chilwell in the article.
Yeah.
Because I wrote the article, so I would know that, yes, I did. No. Yeah, but this thing, because people are having to go at Luke Shaw again, the memories are so short, It's all about... I mean, look, you can score as many goals as you want now, Ben Chilwell. You can almost be the best left back in the world right now. It wasn't for your teammate Alonso. But it doesn't really matter. It's all about the 3 months before the tournament. That's when you got to do it, because he was the best left back all last year. And then Luke Shaw scored an unbelievable goal against City, and that was it. He was in. You were out. My night were going well, and
that does seem like Southgate's thing is just what happened this week. That's all I'm based on.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as he can keep scoring his amount of goals right up until the next time England play a tournament, he'd be fine. But
that seems very unfair as well for a left back. As long as you can keep banging in goals, you'll be able to play left back for us.
Well, that's especially with defenders. It's like it's not even about being really, really good. It's more about being consistent, and then other players around you either being injured or being out of form or being in a bad team. Or their team, like if you're conceding goals because the midfield is shocking, or you're getting killed down the wings, unlucky for you to be the centre back on that team, because you've just conceded 5 goals in the last 3 games, whatever it is. So for a striker, obviously you need to be scoring, but for a defender, you just got to hope that you're the best in your position by luck, really. Anything else, it sounds kind of but it is. To a certain extent, that is true. Like, it's just about being consistent.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chelsea go on to again. We call that one. We didn't think it would go to penalties, to be honest. I thought they beat them in regular time, but I guess they'll happen to have the 9-0 on the minds. They don't want that to happen ever again.
Not a third time.
No, never. Maybe once, maybe a second time, but definitely not a third time. Yeah. Arsenal continue their good run of form. Another 2-0 win against Leeds United. Leeds, I suppose, not going well in the league themselves.
No.
Still missing Rafinha and Bamford, so it's always going to be a tough ask. Got arguably their 2 best players.
Yeah.
But probably good for them if they want to, because not that they're in a relegation fight just yet.
Yeah,
I don't think.
You don't want to slip into one, and then you've got a semi-final against fucking, I don't know, West Ham or something coming up.
Yeah, because the Carabao Cup is like Burnley got to it last year.
Yeah.
And obviously didn't win it, but they were teetering on the edge there of relegation the whole time. Now again, it's like, well, what's the point of being in these competitions if you don't want to win it? I'm not saying that, but like, I think Arsenal probably had too much of them. But in the grand scheme, I don't think it was probably on from to win this year with the injuries they had. So I think their main focus will be trying to get a bit higher in the table this year than they were last year, maybe, if they can still manage to get the players on the field. For Arsenal, I guess,
how many? It feels like they haven't lost in months.
Yeah, considering the start of the season.
Yeah.
And it was like, again, it was a record. This is the worst season since 1813 or whatever the fuck it was. You know what I mean? Like, every year it's the worst start since whatever.
Yeah.
I think this was the all-time worst start.
Yeah.
And Now all the players are happy and smiling and they're scoring
So
goals.
weird. Like,
and
I don't know what changed. Just all of a sudden, things started working.
I think, well, certainly it got to kind of a point where there was nothing else to say about Arsenal. It was like, Arsenal going really badly. It's like, yeah. Well, I suppose it's probably not only Arteta's fault, but also the whole club's fault, the manager. I mean, collectively, I guess. Like, there's nothing else you could say. The pressure was completely off because people had just given up talking about us.
Yeah.
And that's where Arsenal thrive. That's the sweet spot where no one's talking about them, no one's any expectation or pressure. Like, even with this, Arsenal are so far behind in terms of expectation from the start of the season. If they were to play City now, you'd say, oh, that's a City win all day. Easy.
Yeah.
You know, when they're playing Leeds, I don't know what we said. I don't think we said definite Arsenal win.
No, I don't think so.
We said Leeds are going badly, but, you know, it is Arsenal, so who knows? Like, if they'd lost that even, it wouldn't have been like, I can't believe that. It would have been like, you know, well, we still have the league.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have even been that bad. So
it does seem like...
Yeah,
I think as soon as United started slipping up, I think that does help Arteta a lot because all eyes are on Ollie. People are looking at like, well, look at them, they're fucking falling apart. You can just quietly... And like, I don't think they've been ripping it up in the league. I think it's been like lots of clean sheets and stuff. Be as boring as you like. No one cares. No one's watching. There's a different club collapsing right now. You can just do what you like.
Yeah, again, like they won't start talking about Arsenal again until they get to maybe fourth or third, if it continues, say. And then they go, oh, are Arsenal contenders? And that's, you know, when we'll see how good they are because it'll be the smallest ounce of pressure, like to get top four. Like, oh, fuck, you know.
We better not lose against Burnley this week.
Yeah. So I think they're in the sweet spot right now where there's no pressure, but there's a kind of growing confidence and all that stuff. So, yeah, long may it continue, I suppose, but we'll see where it ends up. QPR Sunderland, that was the one non-Premier League involving clash.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't say we knew anything about that game because we hadn't heard anything about Sunderland since the Sunderland Till I Die documentary. I think that's the last time I saw them. A controversial goal though in that game. Well, I don't know if you saw it.
No, what was that?
It was an offside that it wasn't really an offside. There was a play beforehand where he may have been fractionally offside, but it was a shot on goal and the goalie saved it. And then it came back out that same player and he took another shot and then Charlie Austin put it in. So it was like kind of like two plays back almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the linesman called offside. There's no VAR in the Carabao Cup, of course.
Yeah.
So they couldn't go back and check to correct this. And that would be 1-0 to QPR. But as it was, it finished 0-0 and Sunderland ended up winning on penalties 3-1. Yeah, so some bad penalties for QPR as well, to be fair.
I mean, how are you supposed to like go to referee and like after refereeing say the Premier League for the last few years, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, there's no VAR now, it's all you again. You're not going to remember all the like. You're going to just out of habit be like looking towards VAR and stuff. You're not going to be able to ref that game properly, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones that that was the whole reason VAR came in, because it was like stuff like that where you just miss. Like, it goes so fast, it's a very quick kind of play, and you think, oh, I think that was offside. And for the previous player, it was, but he just kind of missed it. It's a human error, you know, which is why a lot of people against VAR would have said, look, that's part of the game, you know. And like I was saying, that's fine when it's on a smaller scale, when there's billions of pounds being put in. People lose a rag over that kind of shit. It's like, human error. What are you talking about? How much money I spent to get Aidan McGee to this club?
We've talked about it before, but Aston Villa staying up because the goal line technology didn't work for the only time ever in its history. Like, things like that matter.
Well, yeah, when there's so much money in the line, you know. Now, I suppose the thing for Carabao Cup is for lower league teams, they wouldn't have the facilities for VAR or something like that.
Yeah, I think that is why.
You know, I think that's what it was about. So, obviously now we're in the last 16 and you have bigger teams in it, it kind of loses that reasoning because they all do have those facilities. And, you know,
I mean, is there VAR in the FA Cup?
I don't know.
Is it in like some games?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But it might be for the same. But if there isn't, I would imagine for the same reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sunderland go on. They're the only team, non-Premier League team left in it right now. They're the in League One, sitting pretty in 4th in League One. Did you hear the comments from the Sunderland manager after the game?
No. Oh boy.
Well, as I said, obviously the last non-Premier League team left in it, so they're up against it. So they asked him, who would you like? Who would you rather?
Yeah.
He said, I'd love to have Arsenal away or Tottenham away. And then we'll wait for the really big guns when it's 2 legs. Yeah. So shots fired.
I mean, he's getting Arsenal. He's getting Arsenal or Tottenham in the next round, and they're going to absolutely fucking pump them. Arsenal 5-0 or something. Why would you say that?
It's funny because, there's nothing to lose really.
You're not going to win the Carabao Cup.
Well, even if I suppose they could. I mean, they probably won't. But the thing is, you said that about Arsenal, Tottenham, right? And I think technically they are the lowest team in the league. Maybe are Brentford lower? Maybe I think Brentford going actually well enough. Maybe
Brentford are doing well,
but they're not. They aren't as good as City. Well, as City are out. But I mean, technically they aren't the biggest guns left in it. Yes, but if you say that about Brentford, you say, well, I think we'd rather Brentford then we'll focus on the big dogs then. Then you lose that game to Brentford. It's like, oh, you thought you could beat Brentford. That's embarrassing for you. Yeah. If you lose to Arsenal, it's like, well, of course, lost Arsenal. You know what I mean? He was just trying to wind them up. He was just trying to get in their heads. So there's nothing to lose. But if you win, it's like, oh, he's done them. He's absolutely done. He's rattled them before the game started. So it's just a bit of shithousery. There's nothing to lose. I love that shit, man. Honestly,
it's
the real
that
big
reminds
guns.
me of. That reminds me. I remember reading in Chris Jericho's book when he was learning how to do promos in wrestling.
Yeah,
I think it was Ric Flair or someone pulled him aside and started dogging him after he did a promo because he was calling whoever he was wrestling a big dumb idiot loser or whatever. And he's like, you're a fucking idiot, blah blah blah. And Ric Flair was like, you do know obviously this is fake. You're trying to sell tickets. If you beat that guy, you beat a loser. Now if you lose to him, you lost to a loser. He's like, talk people up, not down, idiot.
Oh right, yeah, I get you. Yeah,
yeah. So you should be like, I want to play talk them up. I would say, because then makes you want it to be. You want your players to be up for it. You don't want to be like Arsenal. We can do them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think that the Sunderland players actually think that. I don't think they're like, oh, thank God we got Arsenal, Tottenham. Because the manager said they weren't very good. Hey, look, we'll face the big dogs later on. Okay, we just got I mean, I think it is just a bit of kind of. I didn't even see the interview; just saw the quote. So maybe he was taking the piss. I don't even know. Yeah. But I think he knows what he's doing. He's just trying to rattle them. And look, Arsenal and Tottenham players, they know that they want to be competing for the title, competing for the leagues, but they're not. So it's definitely a nerve to be struck. Why not have a go? If you can't have a go in the Carabao Cup, when can you have a go? Will?
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true. I would love another Sunderland Till I Die season, especially if they win that game. Oh yes, if that comes up.
Well, I want a Newcastle Till I Die season.
Oh,
that's because if they get relegated this year, can you imagine that documentary? Holy God!
Actually, aren't they doing Arsenal this year?
There's an Amazon one, I think.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Or maybe I think they did it last year, actually. I think they recorded it last year. And it's being released this year, I think.
Something like that,
I don't know.
Because I was going to say...
I remember it being announced and I was like, why?
If it's Arsenal this year, that is a fucking dull enough documentary because now they're just kind of petering along, doing well. There's not too much drama.
Well, this is the second act of the documentary, I imagine. It starts off really poor. Here's redemption. There's going to be another crushing loss to somebody, and they come and pull it back and win the Carabao Cup. That's how the documentary would go in an ideal world. But Sunderland march on. They don't care who they play, but they prefer one of the weaker teams, obviously, being Arsenal or Tottenham. Technically, not wrong. And Tottenham beat Burnley. I think we backed Burnley for that one.
We did, actually. Yeah. We said that had a Burnley win written all over it.
And watching the highlights on Quest, Carabao Cup on Quest, Burnley had chances. Tottenham, I don't think, registered a shot on target in the first half. So I was up for this game as I have been for every game all season.
Harry Kane was up for it again. I don't even know if he was playing, actually.
Oh, he was. He had some wild shots.
Yeah. He wasn't
Lucas Moura.
He wasn't going to miss a chance to play in his favourite tournaments.
No, he wasn't going to miss a chance of playing against a weaker side. Absolutely not. But it was Lucas Moura actually who got the goal for them. First goal in 25 appearances for them. So good to see him back on the score sheet if you're a Lucas Moura fan. They brought them all on in the end. They brought on Son, obviously Moura as well, who got the goal. They really wanted to, I guess, try and win this game. Because, I mean, Spurs are another one. It's like, obviously, same as Arsenal, they're not going to get anywhere near the league this year.
Yeah.
But every game you lose, then it's just more pressure. So like you can't throw away any game. You can't say, well, it's only the Carabao Cup. It's like, sorry, are you focusing on the league because you had me fooled? You know, you have to just go out and try and be better than you were the day before. So it's a miserable looking Tottenham side, even when they win. You know,
I mean, especially with Nuno under pressure, you can't be like, it's just the Carabao Cup. That is literally your only chance to win something, really, to save your job. Every game matters so much. Yeah,
I mean that would be a fitting end for this Spurs team, as in like the Kane, Son, Dele Alli, all those boys that like they finally win a trophy like in the last season, like it's the Carabao Cup.
Manager sacked, no one cares.
Manager sacked, Kane leaves. It's like, wow, well, we finally did it. You know, like it just there's nothing enjoyable about that Spurs team. Like when they were going well, it was like they're an exciting team. Like you mightn't like them or whatever, but like they're an exciting team. Like there's nothing to kind of latch on to this team at all.
So dull to watch. Kane, their best player, doesn't want to be there. It's shite.
Yeah. For Burnley, obviously they got the final last year. So I'm sure they want to go one step further this year and win it, but no such luck. Yeah. It's always tough to know with Burnley what their where their priorities are.
Yeah.
In terms of like, is it just about staying in the league? Is it about trying to win a cup competition?
When do you push on, or can you push on?
Yeah. Because I mean,
they've been in the league for so long now. It feels like,
and they've definitely been under Sean Dyche for so long because they went up and came down and went back up again.
Yeah.
So obviously, say, look, he knows how to do a job here. The job being staying in the Premier League and being competitive and all that stuff. But like, I don't know who even owns.
I think someone bought them last year. I think that was the thing. It was the same as United. It was like a leveraged buyout thing where they bought the club with the club's own money and immediately plunged them into debt. So
nice.
Yeah. Good business. I mean, surely they'd have enough money now from being in the Premier League for a few years to be able to buy players to push on a bit. Because, like, if you haven't made money yet, then what are you doing? Like, you've stayed up year on year now.
Yeah. Well, Maxwell Cornet, I think he came from Lyon. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different Cornet, but he's been pretty good for them. And like that's the kind of the Premier League money is that like Burnley can blow Leon out of the water for wages, which sounds insane, but like, he was at Leon there. Yeah, from 2015 to 2021, he came to Burnley this year.
I think
like he's a good signing for them.
I think it was Leverkusen or someone were trying to sign him as well. And their manager came out and was like, "We literally can't compete with fucking relegation struggling Premier League teams." He's like, "This is insane. This has to be stopped."
I didn't write that a few episodes ago about Kabay, the same story about Crystal Palace versus Roma at the time. And like you're just like there's no decision to be made in terms of money, So that's the thing. Like Sean Dyche always comes out and talks about like, look, there's a reality to this league. The teams will beat, the teams you won't beat. Doesn't mean you beat the other teams you won't beat. But we've listened to more Sean Dyche on this show than probably any other, to be fair.
Not in a while. He was really on form last year. He's kind of back.
Well, they're going well. He's all talk, and then he kind of he knows when to be quiet, But that's why he's manager for so long. He doesn't come out and say stupid things when things aren't going well. But he talks about like the reality to the league, and look, you're not going to beat Man City. You're going to lose 5-0 every year, and that's just reality. And you just, man up and deal with it. But I think recently said, but when I say that doesn't mean we'll automatically beat the bad teams either. It's like, well, if you lose the good teams and the bad teams, Sean.
When are you winning, Sean?
I mean, I know it sounds like we're talking more about gambling than statistics here. Where it looks like we're about to go down. So yeah, obviously they got Maxwell Cornet, but I mean, if you want to get kind of, I don't know, is it the scouting system? Is it the manager? What's the most important thing about getting, good players from different leagues? If you have the money, as Burnley seem to do in comparison with other smaller teams across Europe, you would kind of think, well, it's time to kind of push on now. We're an established Premier League team, but like I say, 1-0 loss to Spurs. They're out of the Carabao Cup again. Not sure what the new owners' priorities are, but it could be one of those things at the end of the season they'll review, just like Ole Solskjær. So we'll see where it ends up for Burnley, but yeah, definitely not good. Not going well at the moment in the league or the cup. So yeah, that Sean Dyche impression might go to waste. I've been working on it for months, and just like get it where I want it to be, useless. Loses all value unless this becomes like a championship show, and then
they might have to.
But yeah. I suppose the big shock, the big upset, West Ham versus City. Yeah. Now we said that the last Carabao Cup episode. We said if West Ham beat Man United, they have to play Man City. They'll really have earned this Carabao Cup if they manage to get over both of them. And here we are. They've got over both of them. Now this time they took penalties to beat Man City, and a shocker from Phil Foden.
Yeah.
Really.
And just as he was stepping up, the commentator called him unflappable, and then he fucking smashed it wide.
And he flapped. He's flapped all over the shop. Yeah, because I mean they had their second team, I guess, but not even their second team, just lads who aren't playing.
Yeah.
Like De Bruyne has been playing a lot. I guess he's struggling with. He obviously had the League of Nations there, not League of Nations. That's the old European Union, the Nations League. Sorry, Ken Rose of the Nations League, and he had the Euros. Like he's had a lot going on recently, so he's been relegated to the cup competitions to get his fitness back. Fernandinho, who I guess is second choice behind Rodri, gunned again. He doesn't get much game. Like these players are unbelievable. Sterling, like Colton Palmer, who's been very good for them when he's played. Riyad Mahrez, Zinchenko, John Stones, Walker, like these players. But yeah, 0-0 against a resilient West Ham team. They had pretty much their main side out, to be fair.
Yeah, from the highlights, it was pretty much all City taking shots, and West Ham's keeper had a great game. Areola, I think he pulled off like 5 or 6 saves or 7 saves, something like that.
Yeah, no, he was good. But like I say, it was penalties at the side of this. And look, you've beaten Man United, you've beaten City. Like, I mean, I say it was mainly West Ham's first team, but there was no Rice. Bowen came on, Fornals came on, Ben Rama came on, who got the winner, came on. So I mean, they still had a bit of strength and depth on the bench there. I mean, it's a great chance for them to go on and win it now, isn't it?
Yeah, they just have to hope they don't come up against Liverpool, I would assume. That's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool are also going quite well.
It's just come up against them when, like, Klopp doesn't seem to usually care about the Carabao Cup, so you need to come up against him in the middle of a tough week where he's like, I can't be bothered with that right now. I've bigger things. You don't want to play him like in 2 weeks when he's still like, we've plenty of time. Yeah, why not?
yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, this is the kind of thing now what would be great for West Ham. They obviously had a couple of good seasons now. They got into the Europa League, and they're still going very well in the Europa League.
Yep.
They look like they're well kind of suited to the squad. Like I say, the squad isn't as bare as other teams who've made it into the Europa League after having a good season. I think it's well constructed and there's a good bit of depth to it. This win is huge for them, really, I think, because it does give them a great chance to go on. I mean, Man City obviously 4 in a row winners, the holders, definitely favourites at the start of this year just because of the squad they have. They've knocked them out. The teams left, there's still some decent teams left in it, so I wouldn't say West Ham are overwhelming favourites, but they'll have no fear of anybody, I suppose, going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when they beat United, that happens like once a season. It seems like someone will beat United in the cup competition, knock them out. It happens all the time. But beating City,
and there's questions over Man United as well. It was
exactly.
Solskjær on this,
Yeah, you don't really get any credit for it. But definitely beating City, that's all you. Like, you did that.
Yeah, Pep Brown said they were better than us on the night. They were better than us. But I mean, for Man City, the only saving grace is that puts an end to the quadruple talk early, so that's not going to be an issue this year.
Down to the treble doesn't sound as cursed.
No, well, the treble's been done many times by many teams. It's not kind of a lofty ambition.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it is, but it's not kind of unrealistic. It's like, look, with the squad they have, they should be aiming for that. Why shouldn't be aiming to win every competition? Maybe City will be looking back on this loss fondly. Yeah. Phil Foden, the best thing he ever done with his club was missing that penalty against West Ham, the Carabao Cup in October.
Because if they win this, I think the next round is the semi-finals, maybe the quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals, yeah.
Yeah, so then his quadruple talk starts. So they were one game off, so they're very lucky this time.
Well, the next game is in the next round is the 20th of September, I think it starts. So if they won that one, and then they're in the new year. Once you're in the new year, in all competitions, quadruple's on.
Quadruple, yeah.
So this has put an end to it nice and early.
Yeah.
They'll still be disappointed, I suppose, mainly because all the players they have.
Yeah, it's less games.
To keep them all happy, you still want to be playing games.
Yeah.
And it, say for De Bruyne or Gundogan, it's like, well, this is a chance for me to get back in the starting team if I'm playing well here,
Yeah.
But again, don't feel sorry for them. Don't feel sorry for them ever. The other Premier League clash, Leicester versus Brighton, another penalty shootout, but this one is actually 2-2, so not a bad game either.
Yep.
Bad penalties, but not a bad game. Harvey Barnes continues to score outside of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Well, not that it doesn't matter, but I mean for my fantasy football team,
it does not matter.
He's hemorrhaging value and not scoring goals unless it's 6 minutes into the tie against Brighton where he gets his goal, and then Adam Webster at the end of half time, 45 plus 3, gets one back. But then just on the end of the end, Adam Ola says, "Look, man, I'm going to score it now." And he gets a goal, 45 plus 5. The ref was probably just watching the game at this point, going, "Oh shit, I should end the half." Sorry,
what was I supposed to do?
Exciting. I just kept watching the goals going. Sorry, lads.
He was waiting for the VAR call to say it's half time.
Yeah. And then it was Mbua who got the equaliser for Brighton then in the 71st minute. And I think that's in a cup competition like that one, there's penalties. After 75 minutes, no one's going to try and score anymore. Yeah. You're just like, all right, well, let's just do some penalties. You've earned it.
Thanks a lot.
You don't lose it,
Yeah.
And I forget who took the penalties in.
I think it was 4-2 penalties left.
I think Mope hit the post. I hit the crossbar maybe, I think.
Yeah, he missed.
Leicester were perfect from there. It's Daka, of course, a man in form. Again, he wanted penalties. Harvey Barnes, of course, scored again in the penalties. Yeah. Why not? Get the confidence up. Just save that. Bring that energy to the Premier League, Harvey, and I'm all for it. And the worst thing was Mbua, who equalised obviously in the last goal of the game in the regular time, missed his penalty.
Yeah.
To keep it alive for Brighton. So unlucky for him. Yeah, Leicester, I suppose. They won the FA Cup last year, did
they?
Yep. So they'll know what it takes to win a cup competition. They'll think they can probably go on and win the whole thing now, especially with City out. I don't know. I'd fancy them, to be honest. Vardy obviously was injured the last day as well, which you might say, well, that's the end of that. But you have the likes of Daka,
Daka's good.
Madsen and Barnes back scoring again, and Iheanacho as well to come on. So. Yeah, I'd be. It might be an outside bet. I think Leicester.
I think so.
For Brighton, I think they just want to keep the run of the league going. Surely, I mean they're doing so well now. If they can keep this up till Christmas, you could be looking at a Europa League finish and then maybe get relegated next year. So that'd be good.
That's better than nothing.
As they lose more players in the summer. I mean, that to me, it feels like that's what the fate of this Brighton team is this year. That they're going to be like Burnley and Fulham before them, or Newcastle or Wolves. Any of them who overachieve for a season and finish 7th, and they get to the Europa League, and it just destroys their squad.
Yeah.
You know, because they obviously are a good team to be there. They deserve to be there. But then when it gets to like last 16 and the cup and injuries mount up, just isn't the squad there. So yeah. I mean, listen, Brighton will be. It would be a bonus for them to get past Leicester, but I think they're pretty happy where they are in the league right now. So they won't be too broken up over it, I wouldn't say. The last game then, Preston Liverpool. Yeah. And we call that one correctly, I'm pretty sure.
Incredible guess.
I suppose the most incredible thing was Divock Orgi's finish, the behind the back flick.
Crazy. It was like it was in fast forward.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the quality of the Liverpool team. I forget who was who took the ball down and drew in like 3 or 4 players, and then managed to flick it over to Origi, and then he was like, he was just standing there watching your man, and then,
I'll just hit this.
Just scorpion kicks it behind his back and lobs the keeper from 2 yards. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it was a young enough. Like they had your man Blair, Morton, players you would kind of recognise. Nico Williams obviously played a bit last year from the injuries, but like it's not as strong as say Chelsea's second team or you know, obviously City are out, but you know what I mean. Like in terms of like the second teams that are in it, I wouldn't say it's as strong. And we know that Klopp doesn't like these competitions at all. Yeah. So if it comes a choice between City at the weekend and the Carabao Cup semi-final or whatever it is, you know they're gonna throw this one away. I don't care about this at all. So they march on, but I wouldn't put any money on Liverpool to go on and win it, because I just the way Klopp acts with these. Now, if they were to get through with a weaker squad to semi-final, final, I think they'd have to try and win it. They'd probably play the likes of Salah, Mane, but this is like I said, the round 16 quarterfinals. Like if he lost last night, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't like. Well, that's what they do. They don't have any mass in this competition whatsoever. So, you know, what can you do? Actually, that wasn't the last game. Stoke Brentford was the one we didn't mention. Did you mention them?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, another Ivan Toney with another goal for them. He's going well for them. I don't feel like they're going to win it, to be honest. No. Brentford, but it was a good win. Your first year in the Premier League, a run in the cup. Yeah. What more do you want? You know, quarterfinals out of the Carabao Cup. Yeah. They look like they'll definitely stay up in the league. So, I mean, if you're a Brentford fan, you're loving this.
Yeah, they're making a name for themselves. They're kind of becoming a new club up there. Like, I mean, when you see Norwich as well, you see what could be if you're a championship team. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if this was Stoke's second team, or not. I don't recognise any of the Stoke players from being such a Premier League stalwart for years. Yeah. To see them now and like, I don't know any of these boys. Like, you know.
Well, where are they in their league now?
I don't know. I think they're are they League One or Championship?
I think they're Championship, but I could be totally wrong. No idea.
The only name I recognise is Fletcher. I think that's Stephen Fletcher up front for them. He played for them. But yeah, no, it's mad to see Stoke like that. When they sacked Tony Pulis, like we were saying at Burnley, to be fair, it was like, oh, where's the progression? They've been in Premier League for years. I mean, look, this is the flip side of it. Yeah. You know, it's not easy to stay in the league. It's not any mean feat. Yeah. And this is the flip side. So, yeah, getting knocked out by Brentford, who are just a better team, who are a Premier League team. You know, no disrespect to Brentford at all. So, yeah. But it was good. You know, a nice bit of midweek action. Especially when you watch the highlights on Quest, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, if there's penalty shootouts midweek, that's all you need, really.
What about that? What about there's no draws in Premier League, no 1-pointers? If the game ends in 90 minutes, it goes to penalties, like 3 points for every game, no matter what.
I think you would have
all or nothing.
You would have a lot of 11 men standing on the line for 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine if Sean Dyche heard that new rule set. He'd be fucking all over that.
Well, yeah, maybe that would happen. But I mean, like, you could, if you were better than the team, you'd still try and, I don't know. Well, maybe, I don't know. I guess the 0-0 draws, you know, will be eliminated. Or, like, you know, if people were defending for the whole game, then it would make a difference because you still go to penalties and you lose anyways.
How about you have to take a shot every 5 minutes or the game is over?
All right. It's just an idea. Don't ridicule me. Don't lampoon me. Yeah, that was the Carabao Cup, but in other cup competition further afield, Bayern got pumped 5-0. This made international news, I'm pretty sure, because this just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They rarely lose. They're fine getting pumped.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a weak Bayern team either. They all started: Lewandowski, Muller, Sané, Gnabry, Goretzka, Kimmich, Upmenso, Pavard.
How does that happen?
Neuer in goal, Hernandez. I mean, like, this wasn't like you're expecting to see, Gunter, fucking
Go on.
the youngster, Gunter the youngster on the team. I don't know.
Everyone's favourite player. Is that the all-time worst bit in the podcast?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a strong Bayern team, and they brought on the likes of Kingsley Coman and Tolisso as well, but just they had no answer for the Borussia Mönchengladbach assaults.
Yes.
Again, I don't know the Bundesliga that well, so I don't even recognize some of the Mönchengladbach players. But you said the manager had beat them 5-0 recently. The Gladbach manager.
I think in 2019, that was the last time Bayern conceded 5 goals.
Hutter,
yeah. I think he was
Adi Hutter.
Was it Freiburg he was with or something like that? I'm not sure who he was with.
Yeah. Well, on the back of that, I'm sure he's probably shot up the odds to be the next Man United manager.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, did you see Ollie is there for 3 more games apparently?
Oh yeah, one of our favorite tropes on this podcast. 3 more games.
What does that mean? Does he have to win all 3? If he wins the hard one and loses the easy ones, there's so
what's
much
the exchange rate between draws and losses? I mean,
just end it now.
Yeah,
I did.
Like I say,
I saw it was apparently. I can't remember. It might have been your man Laurie from the Athletic that covers United was saying that Woodward and the United board were scarred from dealing with Jose, and that's why they have like a committee with Ollie, and that's why they're hesitant to get Conte in because they're like, oh, I can't deal with someone else giving out to us.
Yeah, imagine somebody kind of calling you on your bullshit, like nightmare.
I mean, if they fucking don't go with Conte, they're such cowards.
Yeah, like if that is the reason that, like, oh, he's difficult to deal with. It's like, you just lost 5-0 at home.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but the stress of that, man.
Yeah, he's going to make me look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I remember being in different jobs and, like, complaining about, like, the manager and work or whatever, like, and then, like, eventually, I'm like, I just don't like working here. Like, that manager make me do my fucking job. Oh, he's always on my case, and then like, I should probably leave because I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, you complain about stuff that, like, he wants you to work. Is that the complaint? It's
the classic thing from school of like, oh, that teacher hates me. Giving out to me for not doing my homework.
Like that's what they sound like. It's like, oh, he'd be always questioning us and pushing us to do better. Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, Ollie, you have 4 more weeks, 7 more games to turn this around or whatever.
And again, we're talking about working like minimum wage jobs or being in school. These people are making 6-figure salaries.
They're the bosses.
And they're like, oh, like just constantly being, under scrutiny. I don't fancy that at all. I like the system now where I make money and I don't actually have to answer to anybody.
The manager is the one who gets in trouble, not me.
Yeah, exactly. So, you can link whoever you want. You can link anyone from David Moyes to Adi Hutter. But it doesn't matter if you have that kind of issues at the club where oh no, I don't want to do that because it sounds like hard work. I mean, it doesn't look good there. I was actually watching Sky Sports there today, and they had David James on. They had like on the football show. And they asked him about like the Ollie being this manager. I literally did the meme or the tweet, being like, "Well, as a person who doesn't support Man United, I'm very happy, but I think Man United fans will not be so happy." Like everyone can see, everyone's like making a joke about how bad this man is, but it's just like
I don't know if you saw the clip of, I think it was Danny Mills or something on Sky Sports, who didn't know he didn't know his mic was still live when it went to ads. So he was talking about Man United and describing the problem, and then it went to ads, and you could hear him saying, basically what I'm saying is United are shit.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like you said, we thought that'd be the end of it there, the 5-0, but they gave an extra lifeline for a couple of days for 3 more games.
Surely the 3 more games was the 3 games up until the Liverpool one where we were talking about. He has to go. Like, why is it only started now?
Yeah, I don't think that's even. It can't be what they're actually using.
No.
It has to be like we're guessing it'll take us about this time for you to play 3 more games for us to get a manager in place. And
well, I think the international break is in like 2 weeks, so I'd imagine they're just kind of pushing it till then. And that's like maybe they're just trying to be respectful to him and be like, but that even then, like if he loses, that's people are going to be fucking dogging him.
Yeah,
like he's already. He's clearly already lost the team and stuff. Why put him through this?
Well, if they lose the next 3 games, then at least Miguel can change his Koeman effigy into a. He can sell it on eBay. Maybe he can make his money back. Because it'd be getting that point by night as well. Like, it's fine for people to leave the stadium, but like people will not want. City's one of those 3 games, isn't it?
Yeah, City, Tottenham, and Atalanta. And if they lose against Atalanta, I mean, they could be out of the Champions League as well. So, like, they're 3
the whole season could be
games.
destroyed in the next 3 games.
The 3 most important games of the season, right? Maybe now's the time to see if you can turn it around.
Well, let's see how this turns out. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, I don't know. It seems bizarre, that kind of metric of 3 more games, but yeah, I don't know. Looks like we'll be talking about Solskjær for the foreseeable future, I would say. We'll see how that goes.
We're putting a ban on him from next week, I think. He's still there.
They're trying to do the Arsenal. They're trying to let's just get so bad that no one talks about us anymore, and then we'll be fine. Then we'll get right back to winning ways.
No one talks about Arteta anymore, Cathal. It works.
No one mentions him. But yeah, is there Premier League this weekend? We're not on the cusp of international break now, are we?
No, I think there's like 2 or 3 more sets of games first. Tell you now. We're doing our patented look at the games.
Well, I think we are. I think we're going to take a look off the dome.
We've got Leicester versus Arsenal.
Ooh, two teams in good form. I'm backing Arsenal for that one, Will.
Ooh.
First big test.
Yeah, I'm backing Leicester for their first big test. I think that's where it unravels. Liverpool, Brighton. It should be a good game.
Yeah, Liverpool, Brighton. Man City, Crystal Palace. Tottenham United, as we mentioned. Tottenham United. Villa, West Ham.
I mean, Tottenham
David
United.
Cameron's 2 favourite teams.
Tottenham United has to be the least looked forward to game by both clubs, I think, ever. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, Spurs want their manager gone. United want their manager gone. No one's going to care whether you win or lose.
Well, for both of them, thinking it's a good time to play each other.
Yeah, that's it.
So it could be a dire game, but it could be a 1-1 draw, maybe.
That could be
that one.
That could be loser gets sacked.
Yeah. But I mean, for Spurs, because we talked about, it's all about having someone lined up. I mean, there's no one going to Spurs.
They went through everyone, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know about that, but it's just about kicking the can down the road till they get 120 million for Kane and buy a rake of players and go again. And we go again. Wolves, Everton, that could be a good game. Norwich Leeds, that could be a dire game.
Yeah.
That could be, a huge game for both, I think. Because, I mean, Leeds, if you can't beat Norwich, you're not going to get much better wins. And also for Norwich, Leeds are a team going badly. A bit of a 6-pointer, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Brentford, Burnley. All right. Newcastle, Chelsea. And Watford, Southampton. I mean, that's the first Steve Bruceless game, is it? Or the last game was the first game of Steve Bruce?
Yeah, no, I think this is the first time without him. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Who's managing them?
It's the assistant manager who came in last year. I forget whose name is though, but apparently that was part of the initial cooking of Steve Bruce, that they brought in an assistant manager just to help
in
out.
Case, just in case.
Just to help out Steve.
Why does he keep looking at me, boss?
Why do you keep saying things to him? And then I ask what he said, and he says, "Oh, nothing."
He says, "Shh."
How come every time I walk in the room, you stop talking?
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?